A lot of you ask me for affordable brand options, but it can be challenging to find a brand that also delivers on quality. So today I wanted to share with you a new brand that I think is perfect if you are on the hunt for some quality basics as you're building up your wardrobe, or because right now it's near Christmas and you might have a lot of people to buy nice gifts for, this could be a really great place to look. So if you haven't heard of Quince before, they ship items for free directly from their factories, and that is what makes them be able to keep their high quality pieces costing a lot less. So they're gonna keep their materials really, like you'll see a lot today of like organic ones, but also cashmere and silk and alpaca and merino wool. So those are all of my favorite top tier fabrics, but the prices are really affordable. So thank you to Quince for being today's sponsor and giving me some of these to try, but I also purchased an absolute ton of them to just try myself since they're a new brand to me. So these are the ones today that are on my top list. First is this baby alpaca wool turtleneck. I think that when I'm looking for a turtleneck sweater that's thicker, I want the neck to be very specific. I want something that is high and thick, but I want it to have some shape to it. I want it to kind of remain sort of narrow up and down. And yet what's great about this is that the material then carries down throughout it, creating a really lovely drape through the shoulders and then down through the body. So this is making it into sort of like a vibe or an essence into the woman wearing it, in my opinion. And I also think that it has to be on my top list from Quince because the shape is just so well done. And plus, because it's made out of alpaca, that's just one of my favorite materials, especially how it feels on my skin. Next is this Fisherman Crew. I love whenever I can find something that is a thicker sweater that has some ribbing to it or just some texture, because as I'm going to be wearing it probably underneath a coat, you're going to see that texture pop out from the coat, but it also is going to look way more elevated and more costing more money is what it looks like visually. The other great thing about this is that we're like knitted into the material, it has this raglan sleeve, and so that's going to create some drape of its own. But altogether, I just thought that the color was really brilliant, because if you're looking strictly in the neutrals and you're finding a brown sweater, one that really suits your complexion is important to find. So for me, I have olive skin, I have a lot of green in my eyes, and this is more leaning toward a green brown than a red brown, which both are okay. But this comes in several different colors, and this was my personal choice. At this point, from every brand I've tried, I usually see what their denim shirt is like. I feel like every brand has their own subtleties on like wash, on how distressed it is, on the buttons, or if it's snaps instead of buttons. There's so many different things, like even if it's more contoured or structured. And I tried a few different denim tops from Quince, and this one was my personal favorite. I just liked the fact that it had a contoured look, and it did have some distressing, but it wasn't over the top by any means. And just the pockets and everything were like perfectly sized for me. And so this is the one that I went with, and I just felt like it's very similar to some of the more like way high-end, very expensive denim shirts that I've tried. I'm no stranger to an oversized cardigan, and I normally wear them buttoned up more like a top, but I love that they named this one the boyfriend cardigan, because it just makes it into more of a story, where it's like I just grabbed my man's cardigan and walked downstairs and just had a lovely, like, cozy morning. That's kind of how I feel about this. And I actually was wearing this outfit to tape this video when someone came by to deliver a piece of furniture that I purchased, and when I was wearing it, I was like, this is really the perfect loungewear outfit, because it's kind of like wearing sweats. It feels very cozy. I could wear it all day. I could probably fall asleep in it, but it doesn't feel too casual. Like, it feels very elevated and classy, and I just love the whole thing. And obviously that's just the way that I wear it. You could wear it open or whatever else meets your needs. Next, I wanted to share a puffer jacket that I think is a lot different than most of the puffer jackets that I see online. First of all, I loved that this one has these golden snaps. It also has a YKK zipper underneath. I'm amazed that all of their zippers are actually YKK because that is my favorite zipper. It's not going to fall apart on you, which is so good if it's an affordable piece. Other than that, I just loved the drape of this. I liked the collar, I liked the big pockets, but the fact that it's also featherless means that not only is it not made of feathers, which might poke you, but it also is made out of recycled polyester, which is great because a lot of the polyester that we see that is new might take hundreds of years to decompose, and so this is already taking a lot of that and recycling it and reusing it. So you can feel good about that, and depending on who you might be giving this to, that might be another thing that they really like. I just like too that it's not way too puffy on me because I don't mind a puffer, but it has to crop just right if it's going to. So the fact that this one is long, it needs to lay properly, and this one does that. Next is this washable silk stretchy blouse. I think it's amazing that they combined mulberry silk with a bit of spandex, and so that's going to create a little bit of stretch and make it drape really nicely, which you know is one of my number one things I'm looking for is how the garment drapes. But I also love that they called this one hot fudge. As far as the color, like chocolate brown, yeah, sure, but like hot fudge, like that's just amazing. I think it's perfect for this season. It's great moving into like if you carry it from like fall and into winter, it'll be wonderful. But I think it's also great to find yourself a nice silk shirt because even for this time of year, it's a colder material, but it layers quite nicely because silk just it isn't so much breathable, it just keeps you cool, and it's very silky, so you can put it underneath a jacket without any problem. Other than that, I would say that this is more of something that leans more formal or corporate, but if that sort of scares you from the lifestyle that you live, just know that I'm retired from my desk job, and I totally love to wear a button-down silk top still because I can wear it sort of looser, I can wear it around my house, and honestly it feels like pajamas. Next is this featherweight Cashmere Crew. I think it's wonderful to have not only these thicker sweaters, but sometimes to have a thinner one as well, because let's say you're going to someone's house and they ask to take your coat and you don't want to be freezing, but you don't want to be like, too bulky or anything like that. Like you don't have control over the thermostat. So I like to work in layers in those situations, and the fact that this one will still keep me warm is really great. This also has that ribbed detail that I love and some details around the neck as well, and I think that it's great that it's this heathered brown color so that it picks up on some of the subtleties as far as like how it goes from dark to light inside it, and that creates a really lovely look as well. And it sort of mutes it a little bit. It doesn't make it too much of a contrast or like too brown if that's your complexion, if you like subtler things. So this is a wonderful piece to layer with, especially if you have something like a jacket that has a silky lining so that it just glides underneath. I think that's really important because no matter the quality of cashmere, you want to be careful to preserve it. My friend was pointing out the other day that I was wearing yet another leather jacket. I literally collect leather jackets because I just know that when I find a good one, I'm going to wear it a lot and it's going to make my outfit look a lot more edgy, and the more that I wear it, it's just going to patina with time because it molds to your body and it'll just bend right where your arm bends, not someone else's. So it's going to get more rugged with time, and that's just part of your story. This one is an excellent one because as far as leather jackets are concerned, Moto jackets are really wonderful to try, and you can do different things with the belt, like sort of like cinching it up a little higher, or you don't have to have it strictly like this. It's okay if they're open. That's a really cool look. And I just think that it's fun because you can kind of work with the collar, pop it up a bit if you feel comfortable doing that. It's just such a wonderful way to give yourself an edge to your outfits and make a lot more use of everything else in your closet. Next is this Alpaca Crew. I think that is wonderful if you are looking for the classic sweater, to be able to wear something that has a crew neck, more of a thicker collar here, and then something that is just very standard as far as the cut and drape of the material. This one isn't going to be one of these more oversized pieces, and it's not going to be too tight on yourself unless you like really sat down a lot. So this one is perfect for that. One of the reasons why I like alpaca, not only is it one of the more like sustainable versions of wool, but it also is just very light on your body. It's not going to feel like these more like heavier, drapey sort of materials. This one is going to have a lot of lift to it. So if you want something that is cozy but isn't going to weigh you down, then you definitely want to try an alpaca. I found this to be a very interesting coat because it is a shirt jacket. And so if you've ever tried a shirt jacket before, they're really great to sort of blend into your wardrobe and work in different ways depending on what your weather is and what you're styling it with. So what's great about this one is if it is like fall or just kind of creeping out of the colder months from February, you're going to be using this with t-shirts, with jeans, like with stuff that's very casual. But in between, you can layer with it quite nicely with anything like sweaters, sweatshirts, cardigans, anything like that. So this is more of a thick material and it's incredibly soft and just cozy. It kind of feels like, I don't know, like a teddy bear material in my mind. And I just like that the buttons here have a little bit of a tortoiseshell design, but they are quite matte. So this is something where if you want it to look very oversized, this is a wonderful piece for that. This one is an extra small, and you can tell like the design of it is supposed to be one of those casual layering pieces. I am so happy to have found another quarter zip sweater. I found one a couple of years ago from a brand that I had gotten rid of, and so I was just so happy to be able to find it again because I so regretted not having this piece. The great thing about this one though, that I'm happy to have this specific one, is that it's an alpaca, and so obviously that's going to feel a lot more cozy. But why you should have a quarter zip sweater in my mind is that it adds a bit of jewelry to something if you're just not someone who wears a lot of jewelry, but it also is going to open up that neckline, which is going to look incredibly flattering on anyone, and showing a little bit of skin here is sort of rare for this time of year, and so this is a really lovely way to do that. And I just like the way that this sort of drapes sort of like a hoodie does without it feeling too casual. So this is like that perfect blend between having one of these sweaters and having a hoodie. It just seems to be great because it's casual, but yet it's elevated, and it just is very striking between the silver and the black. Similar to the shirt jacket before, this is a leather version, and I had a lot of fun experimenting with this because I haven't had a proper shirt jacket in leather in a long time, like I don't think ever. And so it was fun to be able to experiment with it as a layering piece. I think it gives definitely an edge, and it feels very different than this one, which this one feels more like a flannel almost. And then this one has a lot more of this like just cool girl feel to it. I feel like I would have definitely seen like Hailey Bieber own one of these. And for this one in particular, I think that it's fun to be able to work with it in a way that feels natural to you, like popping the collar would be great for this or any leather jacket in my mind, and then working with the sleeves a bit. So there's different things that you can do there. For this one, they kept the buttons a lot more matte, and it's not a tortoise shell, it's just like strictly a proper like matte black button there. And that is the final piece. I have to say again, to thank you to Quince for sponsoring this video. It's so incredible to be able to try a brand that I think suits everyone, and that's why I really wanted to do this video today, is that I couldn't think of someone who wouldn't want to learn more about ways that we can look to save money for everyone as far as like companies are concerned, but I also think it's wonderful to see new ways that companies are reinventing themselves to really help everybody. So with that said, thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to use all of the links down below where you can find my sizes as well as links to specific pieces that I mentioned, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.